or the qualification, the eligibility criteria. If you are looking for a sign to get into this field, what are the things that you need to have? Should you consider this field? And I think we need to fix those dynamics, because here we are not teaching. It is not teaching or one-way communication. It has to be two-way communication. Hi, this is Nirja. In today's video, we are going to discuss about who can become a behavioral skills trainer, and as a fresher, can you enter this industry, or there are other methods to get into this. There will be two parts for this video, and in this video I will mainly talk about the behavioral skills part as a fresher. I will focus more on the roles as a fresher that you can get into this field. What are the scopes and opportunities? What is the payout or the scale? We will now dive deep into the video. I am ready with my notes here. I have written down all the important points. Can you become a soft skills trainer or behavioral skills trainer right after your graduation? So the answer is definitely yes, you can become a soft skills trainer right after your graduation. So the entry level roles that I'm going to talk about further in this video, it will become even more clear to you. And next question which arises here is, should you consider this field? I have seen or observed a lot of people lately, they are joining this field because they have this pull towards this field and they want to work as a soft skills trainer or behavioral skills trainer. And it looks very easy. I will tell you, like, there are certain things that we need to keep in mind whenever we are dealing with the learners. It is going to definitely give you lot more insights about life when you will be dealing with different or diverse learners yourself. So in my case, I have dealt with students from high school to students from the college, and also then the corporate audience, altogether these three fields. So I have been feral for these last few years. I took as much as work I could. I did not willingly, I did not leave out any opportunity. So I was talking about, why should you become a soft skills trainer or a behavioral skills trainer? If you have something in you which tells you to educate the youth about life skills, behavior, day-to-day basic etiquette, then you should definitely join this field. And if you have this ability to train people, if you are a very good teacher. Now, there is a difference between a teacher and a trainer. So when we talk about being a teacher, it can be of any subject, right? When teachers are teaching, so they are mainly doing the knowledge transfer thing. Okay, knowledge transfer as of academics. Let's suppose if I am a science teacher, so I will be teaching you about the science concepts, where my participation is more than you people, or if you are the audience, you are the student. So my participation will be more in order to clarify the concepts that we are studying in the class. Now, when we are speaking of the trainer part, so trainer is different in a manner where trainer is facilitating the session. Facilitation and teaching are two different things. When we are talking about the facilitation part, so the training is designed in a manner where there are different types of activities, role plays, case studies, where trainer involvement is there in clarifying the concept, but the trainer talk time is usually lesser than the participant talk time. Okay, and this is how it should be. Like, if you are a trainer who is speaking in the classroom quite a lot, then I think we need to fix those dynamics, because here we are not teaching. It is not teaching or one-way communication. It has to be two-way communication, and your learners or participants need hands-on experience in the topic that we are discussing about or training audience on. So this is the difference between a teacher and a trainer. Now, if you are someone who thinks like, okay, this is something interesting that I can also do, you should definitely be in this field. Next part, which is, can you become a behavioral skills trainer right after your graduation? So I think I have already answered this question earlier. Yes, you can become a behavioral skills trainer right after your graduation. For that, you need to either get a certification to enhance your credibility, and then get right your facilitation aspects, like how can you facilitate or engage a large crowd or a classroom of 20 people, 30 people, 50 people. Okay, sometimes if you're lucky, you may get 100 people as well. So you need to understand, like, how to facilitate, all those advanced facilitation techniques which can help you to not make a classroom a one-way communication, but a two-way communication, where people can actually interact with you and learn something hands-on. Now, mind my words which I am using repeatedly, which is hands-on, practical information, or the knowledge transfer. Here we are talking about the concept clarity has to be done in a manner where you are not teaching the crowd, but actually asking them to come to a conclusion which will lead to the actual conceptual clarification part. Okay, so that conceptualization has to be done in a manner that it is practical, hands-on, and engaging for the crowd, of course. Now let us talk about the bifurcation of the two. Here we will be talking about the school part or the academics part, schools and colleges, and the on the other side there is corporate. Okay, which one is better and which one should you join? So when we are talking about the academics part or the schools or colleges and universities, in my opinion, I find colleges and universities much better in terms of pay as well, and in terms of the people that you have to deal with or handle, right? Because they are young adults or mainly teenagers. So when you are dealing with university kids or college kids, they are more cooperating in in comparison to school going kids, because you know, and you must have seen when you were in school how much noise and uncontrollable the students or kids are actually. So if we talk about the payout part, here in schools the payout is much lesser. That's why I will prefer universities or colleges over the schools. Now if you want to work independently with schools, that is also a great idea. There you will have more autonomy over what you want to do and how do you want to train the kids. So if the full-time opportunity is better or freelancing is better later on in this session or later on in this video. So this was about the school part or the academics part. Now let me talk about the academics part in colleges or universities. So when we are talking about college or university here, the main thing here is ki, as I told you, university kids or college kids are much easier to handle. And what do you do with them is to help them transition from the campus to corporate journey. You will also be involved in preparing them for their placements, preparing them for their interviews. So how can you do that? By taking their mock interviews. A lot of group discussions are there, and then there is different methodology that we use. If you join corporate to be in this industry, it is going to give you more growth. Academics are limited. I do feel like it is limited. It is a limited field. And in terms of corporate, like, you just have a lot of growth map in front of you. Okay, now when we are talking about the corporate part, how will you enter and what are the hierarchies, that we will definitely discuss about. In part 2 we will discuss about the roles and designations that you can expect in terms of a behavioral skills trainer or a soft skills trainer initially, and what will be your career or growth map along the years or down the line. When you will be in corporate, what will your average day look like if you are a soft skills trainer and you are on an entry level role? On a daily basis, you might be involved in session planning, you might be involved in scheduling the sessions, then also like the sitting and discussing the case studies, live examples, like what happened in the office for which we need soft skills training, and what are the behaviors or traits that we need to work on of our team. Is there some problem within the team? Is there something some issue that we need to address? So these are the things that you will be discussing with your team leads, or I can say the HR, on a daily basis. Apart from this, you can also be involved in the facilitation part of the design sessions. So a lot of companies, they have their regular trainings or on regular intervals where you can do the facilitation part and also counsel people one-on-one for whatever behavioral traits that they have to work on. Which industries hire a behavioral skills trainer or a soft skills trainer? You will be surprised to know that how much we need these trainings or these trainers in different or various industries, because we need to work on the people skills or behavioral skills that I keep on mentioning about. So the first industry here is, which is very famous for it, is BPO, KPO and call centers. Now if you do not know BPO, KPO, you can definitely Google it. Yeah, so why do they hire soft skills trainer in this industry? Simply because the people are involved in customer facing roles where they have to talk to customers on a daily basis, in which business communication is very, very important, and then email writing, voice and accent. A lot of companies, they are talking to foreigners, they have their foreign clientele to whom their employees who are Indian are talking, so they need to train themselves on voice and accent and other behavioral parts apart from the language, of course. Now the next industry is BFSI. When we are talking about the BFSI industry, it means banking, financial sector. financial services and insurance sector. So in this, again, there are many customer facing roles where people are directly talking or interacting with the customers, for which they need soft skills trainers to train their employees on how to behave with the customers and how to interact with the customers. So MNCs also invest in a lot of behavioral skills training programs for their leadership teams, because they need to build in that culture that is going to lead to the growth of the team. And apart from this, the lower level employees, or I can say the designations, they also need training. A lot of internal trainings, they keep on happening quarterly and like as per their schedules. Now the next thing is retail and manufacturing. Retail में आपको पता है, like when we are going to shop in malls or in different stores, you see people there, they are trained and they need training. Sometimes you must have seen that a lot of people, they do not behave properly when you are interacting with them. Now see, why there is so much requirement of these people or in this field is simply because we are people and we keep on communicating with each other, where we need to be, and especially in the professional environment, we need to be very mindful about the interaction, right? So in personal interactions, you may let go of few things, but in professional interactions, there are so many things that we need to keep in mind while interacting with the customers. So that's why there is so much need. And apart from this, there are so many other famous industries such as hospitality and aviation industry, of course, healthcare and hospital industries, automobile industries, consulting firms, they keep on hiring the trainers for it. Now we will talk about the commercials part, which is the most awaited part and something that a lot of people keep on thinking about, ki how much money can you make in this industry. Now I will talk about in two aspects. One is if you take a full-time role, and the second one is being a freelancer. So if you take a full-time role as a fresher, then you may expect a salary between 25k to 30,000 within the first year. Okay, so this is the entry level role, and now it may vary at different locations as well, and city to city also. So if you are working here in Gurgaon or something like this, here the salary may start with 30,000 to 35,000 for the entry level professionals. If you are lucky, if you are able to convince them with your good facilitation skills and good interviewing skills, then you may get even higher than that. So this is the entry level range that you can get in a full-time job role, but it will keep on increasing as per your experience, as per your exposure, network, so you can definitely get more money in this field. This is what they hire for, and you can definitely get into this industry very easily, and there are so many vacancies for this. There is no difficulty in finding the job. You just check out LinkedIn, there are so many opportunities in this field. Now let us talk about the freelancing part, and which is my personal favorite, but in the same time, like, it is a little difficult to work as a freelancer. Why? Everybody knows the reason. Because here the income is not stable. It will keep on fluctuating. Okay, so when I started initially, I struggled quite a lot financially, mentally, emotionally, because it was very difficult to get work initially. And once I got my first corporate engagement, after that I did not stop. After that I was just like, okay, now I have confidence, I have already delivered a session, I know how it is done. I got all in. For first 2 years I was working as a freelancer. Things did not make sense to me. Then I got a full-time opportunity in a university where I was earning quite decent, but then there was a cap on my earnings, and I realized it is very, very difficult to climb that corporate ladder. I really do not want to waste a lot of time in order to get that annual increment every year, which is just peanuts. I really didn't want that for me, so I left that job, and then I started earning through freelancing again. So now if I talk about it, so freelancing it depends quite a lot on your ability to build a right network for yourself. If you want work in this industry, in soft skills or behavioral skills training industry, you need to have a network, a proper network for it, which I am still building up. But then I do have some engagements which are very regular, touch wood, and I am able to get money from there, like on a monthly basis. Apart from this, there are also other things that a lot of vendors, they have different payment terms. Like some will pay you within 30 days, and then for others you will have to wait at least 45 days to 60 days to receive your payment. So this is how it can vary. You must have seen a lot of content creators as well. They also keep on talking about how brands delays their payments. Same is the case in this scenario as well. Now let us talk about how to do freelancing part. So see, freelancing can be done via two ways. Either you are approaching the client directly, or you have a third party in between.
Now when we are talking about the third party, these are called vendors. These vendors already have an amazing network of companies that they have been in the business for 10 12 years, 15 years, and they already have a good network with a lot of companies out there. So they will get the commission out of it, of course, and they may pay you per hour or on a day basis, which is again like a good way to start your journey. Now if we talk about the direct connects here, you have to knock on the doors on a regular basis. If you are not knocking on the doors on a regular basis, you may not get any money. So this is how it happens in freelancing part as well. But I'm really happy that I chose the freelancing part, and today I can proudly say that I am making more than what I got in a full-time job. So it is initially very risky, but then once you start getting things done, once you start getting clarity in this field, trust me, it gives you immense satisfaction. Alright everyone, so this was it for today's video. In next video, or the part 2 of this video, we will be talking about what after you become a behavioral skills trainer or a soft skills trainer. So we will talk about your career journey, we will talk about the roles and designations that you can get in corporate for this in this field, and then we will talk about a lot of other things like how to decide the commercials part and how to get in touch with clients. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of this video. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.